Hello there, welcome once again to Blackpool. It's semi-final time in the RileysPoker.com World 8-Ball Pool Championships and two terrific semi-finals in prospect. We'll be dealing with them in detail in a moment, but I'm delighted to have with me here in the studio a former finalist, Keith Brewer. Keith, you know what it's like to get to this far in this sort of competition. I just wonder what the players are thinking right now before they go and do their stuff in front of the cameras.
Well, of course, there it's very tense, exciting. It's the biggest tournament of the year. Of course, Gareth wants to get the title back that he won a couple of years ago, and of course, Lee's just desperate to do well, and he knows it's a great opportunity in his hometown as well.
Let's just remind the viewers at home, in fact, of the lineup in this semi-final, and we can confirm there are two terrific matches to come. The one, as we mentioned, first of all, there we go, it's Gareth Potts against Lee Clough, the local lad, and still to come, Mick Hill against Rob McKay. Let's deal very much then with Gareth against Lee. First of all, Gareth, this is his route to the semi-finals, having beaten Mark Selby, the defending champion, in the last round. Earlier, put out Sonny Singh and Tom Ford. And as for Lee, well, this was a terrific effort for him. Stephen Dempsey really freezing on the night, going down 9-0. Chris Melling, a former champion too, beaten 8-6. And Frank Strivens also going down 8-6 in the last 32. So there we are. I just wonder what you make of this match and how it just might go.
Well, it's definitely a contrast of style with play. I think Gareth's very open, attacking, exciting player. Certainly took the pool world by storm in the last couple of years. Lee's worked his way, he's a workman-like player, got great ability, very good concentration.
He's going to get good support.
And he's going to get a lot of support tonight, and he knows he's got a hard match and he'll be really up for it.
And Gareth, you said just before we started, he's very hungry.
Well, he won the title a couple of years ago, and I know he was very disappointed last year, and yes, he's hungry to have that title back.
I'm looking forward to it, are you?
Yes, it's going to be a very exciting match, this.
Terrific, thanks Keith. Right, now we can go off and join the players, and here's Scott and Dave.
Oh yes, welcome down here to the Imperial Hotel here in Blackpool for this year's World 8-Ball Pool Championships. It is semi-final time, so ladies and gents, without further ado, let's play ball. Introducing first the Blackpool favourite, winning his way through to the semis with a 9-0 victory in the quarters. Ladies and gents, the local lad, Lee the Tower Clough!
Today, ladies and gents, is no stranger to this competition, in fact lifting the title back in the year 2005. Here to reclaim it, the one and only Mr. Gareth Potts.
Gareth Potts, the winner back in 2005. He knows what it takes to get to the business end of the event and, in fact, hoist the trophy. But Lee Clough, well, what a match in his quarterfinal television debut as we see the lag. The closest ball to that top cushion will initiate the breaking sequence, and it's going to be Clough. It's an all-England affair. Our first semi-final. Delighted to be in the comm box watching this, and alongside Sean Baker as always, and we welcome another Lee into the commentary box, and Lee Kendall. This is going to be tough, given the way that Lee Clough played in his quarterfinal match, a 9-0 drubbing of Stephen Dempsey. He's got to be feeling it.
Yeah, he was probably the best player in the quarterfinal stages, so he'll be going into this match with big confidence.
Will they raise it up a couple of frames here now? A best of 19 in the semifinals, so the first player to 10 will book a trip to the final in the 2007 championship.
Yeah, and I think both Lee and Gareth will be looking for a better split than that. The balls didn't seem to split very well at all.
But that would suit Lee Clough's style of play. He likes to spend more time at the table. You leave 30 seconds cool quite a lot, whereas Gareth will want to try and make it an open game and get through the balls as quick as possible.
Yellow ball's in play.
Well, he's potted the yellow in the corner and he's ended up touching against the red. I don't think he wanted to be so close to that. I'm not sure if he can get through to the one. He's having a quick look now. And there you can see he can't, so he's going to have to just clip off the edge of that yellow.
And obviously nerves playing a major role, as is always the case in any event. Which player can settle in the quickest and snip those first couple of frames.
Red ball's in play.
Could well be the favourite. That's a nice little shot. Nice effort that from Gareth.
Yeah, he didn't try and play that too hard, so that he knew that he was going to be leaving the cue ball right near to that pack. And it's left Lee in a little bit of trouble here.
Yeah, he just wanted to take control of that pocket and just ease himself into the frame. He knows that Lee's got a red over in that right-hand corner, so he's sitting quite comfortable in this frame. It's up to Lee to find a good safety shot of his own here.
Now, Lee, I'm gonna pull you up on this one. You play alongside these guys in the England team. If you're in the final, the England team final, and one of these guys has to go out to play that last frame for England, who would you rather see out there?
Well, it's a very tough call. They both got plenty of experience, but on the TV and through tournament wins, you'd have to pick Gareth. Just through that little bit extra experience. I mean, Lee Clough is a world-class player, and he is new to the TV, but he's not new on the circuit. He's been around for a very long time. And he's just going to roll the yellow down, take control of the bottom left-hand corner, so he's in total control of this frame now. So Lee Clough is going to have to try and find something here to get himself back into it.
Yeah, I'm not sure he's actually taking the whole pocket there, Lee, but he certainly put it in that area and making it far more difficult for Lee Clough.
Given the height disparity, I think Lee Clough would rather see a basketball out there with a net. Be good favourite then.
Yeah, I don't think he'll need the rest too often, Jim.
I caught Lee just coming off the practice tables about an
30
hour
seconds.
before this match kicked off. And he was feeling very comfortable, very confident. He was just going up to wash up and start mentally preparing for this semi-final. But he did look very calm, very relaxed.
I think you see on the overhead shot we saw there, that red will go past the yellow into the bottom left-hand corner pocket. It'll be top left as we saw on the screen, so as I suggest, he hasn't taken that pocket, Gareth Potts here, but so it's certainly not a finish on here, Lee.
Yeah, there's nowhere for him to attack, really. I mean, he could try and pop the red inside that yellow ball and free the pocket up and put the next red over the pocket, try and gain some control. But Gareth seems to have the upper hand just at the moment. So playing the red in off the yellow in the bottom left-hand corner.
Didn't really accomplish anything there.
Yeah, I think what he was trying to do is get the red to sit inside the yellow ball, but I don't really see the benefit because Gareth would have just played the tactical foul and just put the yellow on top of the red and been in the same position.
Now, Keith Brewer at the top of the program alluded to the fact that Gareth would like to see this a freewheeling affair, and if it turns into a tactical battle, that might well favor Lee. And you know, if early indications prove anything, it looks as though Lee's trying to impose his will into this match.
Yeah, I mean, Lee will be happy because he's got time to get his hand on the table and settle his nerves down. He's not used to this occasion as much as Gareth, so although Gareth's got the upper hand, at least he's going to get rid of some of the feeling nerves in the match.
Yeah, we saw in the quarter-final between Gareth Potts and Mark Selby, it seemed to be a very nervy, very edgy start. Spoke to Gareth about it after the match, and he said he did. He felt the nerves, and there was some edginess in there. Break wasn't working for him either, which didn't help his game. But certainly in the latter stages of that quarter-final, he came through, started potting the ball off the break, and he was certainly in a far more confident mood later on, Lee, in that game.
Yeah, he got himself out of trouble. He was 5-3 down, and he knew that if he was going to win the match, he's going to have to start taking some big finishes out, and that's exactly what he did. That's a clever little shot from Lee there. He's tied the yellow up in the corner, so now he's got a couple of reds on the right-hand side, a red on the left-hand side, so slowly he's working himself into the frame. He's not in control, but at least he's giving himself a chance.
Yeah, it's like a game of chess out there between these two England internationals. Potts has proved himself in the past to be the grand master of this game.
Just rolling the red in here, giving Lee Clough 2 shots, getting rid of one of those out of the way. He knows that there's no finish on there for Lee Clough, so he's quite happy to give him a 2-shot penalty. There's no real benefit for him.
Winning the event back in 2005, though, has to put Gareth in a very confident mood entering this semi-final. You just can't say enough for having the experience of having been there and done that.
Yeah, and this is without doubt Lee Clough's biggest match of his career. He's won a UK tour. He's playing in some big events, but none as big as this occasion. But he's a good tactical player, so he's going to have to dig deep and find some Houdini type shots here to get out of this trouble, because slowly Gareth's just going to swamp him.
Second visit.
No real benefit with that shot, there was.
No, I'm not quite sure what he's played there, Lee, because no great benefit, as you say. Shot that yellow will definitely go inside the red. So Gareth's only got to play one decent shot here to develop a ball, and he'll be on a finish.
Yeah, he might be playing the tactical foul here and putting him behind the other yellow ball. Just roll the yellow in and leave him glued to the other yellow. It's a good shot.
Foul, 2 visit.
Now, can't leave the cue ball, can he, Sean?
No, the only way you could move a cue ball following a foul is if it was a foul snooker. And that's where the player can't make the finest cut possible on any one of his balls. Now, this is an interesting point, because a lot of players get confused about this. People would say, well, he can't hit the sides of the yellow here, so therefore it must be a foul snooker. But it's not. It's the finest cut possible, and the finest cut here is almost in a line across the front of the yellow ball.
One little shot as our referee looks on, and no one knows better than he the rules and how to enforce them. But one little shot that might seem insignificant can completely turn a frame around, and all of a sudden Lee Clough has played himself back into this one.
Yeah, I mean, Gareth's got the option of trying to get the yellow just below the two reds on the left-hand side, inside the red over the pocket, or just roll it over there. Could play the DF. No, he's just rolling it up. There must be a little gap underneath there, Jim, so we can slide it along. I mean, he wouldn't be too bothered again if he wanted to play the DF and put the yellow on the red and take total control again. He's in total control of the frame, basically. Bit of a nothing shot, really. Nothing to gain.
Foul.
Well, that's a mistake. Could prove very costly for Lee. The last thing he wanted to do was bring Gareth to the table with 2 visits.
2 visits,
Very careless
time
as well. I mean, there was nothing. They wasn't trying to do anything. He was just trying to get the cue ball up there. He didn't need it right up to the top, the right-hand corner. This is exactly what he's doing.
And I do feel that Gareth has to try and, you know, let his potting ability, his natural potting ability, come to the fore in this match. I mean, the more that he gets bogged down, the more that style of play is going to favor Lee, even though Lee is fully capable of knocking balls in, too. We saw that in his quarterfinal match against Stephen Dempsey. But this young left-hander can really play. And when he's firing on all cylinders, very few can live with him.
Yeah, that was a tricky shot there. He needed to play the yellow in off the red, but it wasn't guaranteed where the red was going to come out, and it's caught the jaw and just knocked his yellow into that group of balls below the 8 ball. Now he must hit a cushion here, so he's probably going to extract a shot or play a plant and just try and control the balls. Yeah, I felt he played that a little bit too aggressively there. He could have played it a lot softer.
And I don't know whether or not that yellow nearest the red, the bottom of our picture, passes, but as you see, second visit now in. No more insurance policies for Gareth. And if that yellow doesn't pass, and it's very close.
I think if he played it dead weight onto the knuckle, it would drop. We saw when Lee Clough went and off a few shots ago. Cue ball seemed to hit the knuckle, and it still went in.
30 seconds.
So he'd have to play it probably a dead weight shot, Lee.
You'd want to be really straight on it. You wouldn't want any angle at all, because that red is going to act as a blocker.
And I wonder now if he hasn't just left himself an angle on this yellow into the middle to try and disturb it, Lee.
Well, I don't think he played that. I think he's going to have to can into it. I mean, top players don't like to cannon balls which go. So he's taking a risk here, and we'll see if it pays off.
Correct. She sat next to Vicky Lake.
30 seconds.
So it's a thin clip into the centre.
Oh, beautiful shot. Just flick the yellow into the open. And clear sailing for Gareth now. Some creative play here from the former world champion. And this to open his account in the semi-final. It's Gareth Potts 1, Lee Clough 0, and a terrific finish from Potts. Gareth Potts 1-0 settles in to frame number 2 here. A terrific finish in the last. And he certainly has the momentum going into frame number 2. Ball down on the break. He wants to carry that initiative through. And this looks like a very
Ready,
useful split.
Red ball's in play.
Yeah, he seemed to give that extra effort, didn't he? There's plenty of power, plenty of body movement in the break.
Yeah, I was talking to Gareth just before, and he said he'd been practicing his break shot on the practice table quite a bit, and it seemed to be working a lot better than it did in his quarter-final against Mark Selby. We see the break shot again here. Nice explosion of the balls there, as you say, Lee. And he's wasted no time in nominating reds. He's potted a red and a yellow, so he's on reds.
Yeah, it was a good split, but I think he did lose a cue ball, didn't he? So he could have gone flying into the corner, but he'd be happy with the split, and he's made a ball.
And that had to be struck with unerring accuracy at that speed. Thump that one into the corner, down the cushion no less. That to me is a real sign of confidence.
Yeah, he struck it very firmly. I think the one problem ball in this frame is going to be on that side rail there. Left-hand corner. Oh, he's missed it. Just
Yellow
as
ball's
he
in
was
play.
looking confident.
Just a bit of carelessness. I think he almost took that one for granted.
See
Possibly.
once again here, Lee. He's hit that knuckle. He's missed that quite a long way, actually.
Yeah, probably because he was so close with the cue ball to that other red, that might have just distracted him a little bit, but you would still have expected him to make that red quite easily. I think it makes it different, the two yellows in the top left-hand corner, whether they'll pot. If they do pot, you'll see Lee attacking in this frame. But taking the yellow into the corner and swinging around 2 angles to bump his bad one out. It's very tight. I think it may just go. So here we go. He's going to clip the yellow into the corner, swing round the angles. 1, maybe 2 cushions to ping it out.
Here's where that extra height advantage can be useful too. He reaches this quite comfortably.
Yeah, it was an interesting thing there, Jim. You actually saw him reach over without touching the table. He was looking down just to make sure his waistcoat cleared. And there's only a very tall player can do that. He's played an excellent shot there, Lee.
It's a tremendous shot. He judged it well. He did use the 2 rails. It's been a little bit unfortunate with the cue ball. Could have been a lot better on that other yellow ball. But he's just got one big pot to try and take out his first frame.
And this is a test of cueing right along the side cushion.
30 seconds.
And passed with flying colours.
Well done, cue that one. Centre of the pocket, stayed down on his shot. That'll help his confidence.
He's just looking now how he's going to get onto that yellow that's nearest the pocket, Lee. So I think that'll flick in, won't it?
Well, ideally, he'd like to take that ball now, and if you can just screw the cue ball out, he's got a choice of 2. Same the yellow at the side of it, next shot.
Yeah, it really depends on those 2 yellows. The top right corner as we look on our overhead though, and he's looking at them right now.
30 seconds.
Just got to judge the contact to the other one, but it obviously goes. And that's what I was a little concerned with. He's just the wrong side now, and he's going to have to avoid the traffic here, Lee, if he goes up and down the table to come back. I don't know whether he could flick that red along the cushion and hold that half of the table.
Yeah, betwixt and between, he's got a choice of 2 thin cuts. He's probably going to take the one in the centre. It's just whether he can get his cue ball around the traffic. Might have to play with a little bit of a side to try and tighten the angle up.
30 seconds.
Big shot coming up.
straighten up the angle off this bottom cushion, and now every chance to take his first frame.
And he's got the option now to stun down the table and take the black into the centre, or just screw back to the side rail where he's standing and take the 8 into the bottom left. He's just surveying the situation.
30 seconds.
It looks like he's screwing back to the rail for the 8 in the bottom left. He went a little bit further than he would have liked, but at least he has got a shot at the 8.
Again, he's got to stay still. Right into the throat of the corner pocket. All the pressure of securing his first frame in this semifinal duly accomplished yet again. Lee Clough and Gareth Potts tied at 1 frame apiece.
Yes, this is the shot that won him the frame, really. A good control. Leave himself an angle on the last yellow to play position for the 8 ball.
Lee Clough to break. Scores 1-all.
Frame 3. Lee Clough and Gareth Potts deadlocked here in Blackpool, 1 apiece in the RileysPoker.com Whirlpool Championship for 2007.
Split for Lee Clough, and he's made a red.
Red ball potted.
Yeah, the gas from the audience, the yellow hit the knuckle and came away from the other middle pocket.
Yeah, a little wins there from Lee. He's just spotted 3 balls in the middle of the table. He knows he's going to have to dislodge them or pick one off. So now he's just trying to work out which suits the best way around the finish. It is personal preference because they're both as awkward as each other. Yellow and the red on the right hand side blocking each other.
One more look at the break again. Dead center of the table with the cue ball. That was a good hit. And it looks like reds are going to be the color of choice. Big shot here.
The thing is, this is one of the awkward reds that he's got, so if he can get this in, well, certainly down over, and he's potted it. That's one of the awkward ones out of the way straight away. And we always say, you attack your problems early in this game. Makes it far easier when you get to the business end of the frame.
Then looking at it now, reds were the ideal choice because you can pot the red in the open and just dislodge the yellow off it. So you could probably play position on that one next. So we're taking the red in the bottom right hand corner and leaving a nice angle just to kind of enter it. Then he's got a choice of 2 balls to land on.
30 seconds.
And that's exactly what he's done. Take the red into the top left.
Yeah, very ambitious looking Lee Clough at the table right now in attack mode.
And one thing though you'll see with Lee Clough's game, even when he's in attack mode, Jim, he'll still take his full allocation of time. You'll hear that 30-second call quite a lot, but that's what he's entitled to do, and it obviously suits his game.
Well, I'm surprised he's not taking the red in the top because he can dislodge the black.
I just wonder, Lee, does he feel that it goes into the left-hand middle pocket? He doesn't have to dislodge it.
It looks awfully close to the yellow.
It is very close, but I think we saw in the overhead it might just go, Lee.
Certainly that red wide open into both corner pockets. So the advantage has to fall to the tower from Blackpool right now.
And like you said, Sean, it must go in the left-hand centre because he would never have gone this way about the finish.
But it's all about the angle. Even should he get this red, he has to be ideally placed on the last one to drop into the area to attack that black. Once again, I think he's given himself just enough angle to be able to get that cue ball back over the right-hand side. It's not going to be the easiest of blacks.
Yeah, ideally like a little bit more angle so he could just come really close to the 8 ball, but might just have to have a thin clip at it. Probably going to have to screw back to where his hand is. I don't think I want to be playing a reverse side and trying to do too much with the cue ball. Just keep it simple.
He looks very composed and he's cueing sweetly.
You see there's the gap. So all along he's known that this black ball will go.
Oh, the players and the fans right in behind that black knew it was in as soon as Lee struck it. And with it, a 2-1 advantage now over Gareth Potts. Well, Lee Clough is looking like a man on a mission right now. He is doing precious little wrong, and if nothing else, he has sent a message over to Gareth Potts, and it's going to be down to Potts to try and reply in kind. Ready for the break here, frame number 4. He trails 2-1 to Lee Clough. Good control of the cue ball, but unfortunately for Gareth,
Open table.
nothing down.
And unlike the first break, Jim, he put a lot of effort in the first one. That one, he seemed to take all the power off it. So that's probably why he's not made a ball.
Yeah, but as you say, Leon, and we see the break shot again here. He has, but you see he's kept control of the cue ball this time, which he didn't last time. You mentioned that the cue ball did fly round.
Yeah, that's probably what he was conscious of. He knew that, all right, I got a good split and I made a ball, but I want to try and control the frame a little bit better.
30 seconds.
Well, reds will probably be the choice of balls if the first one slides inside the red and the yellow. If not, I'll be going to the yellow balls. It obviously doesn't. He must be taking a long one on.
Well, I'll tell you what, that wasn't an easy opening pot, Jim. So he's obviously feeling confident.
He is without a doubt planting seeds, negative seeds, into the back arm of Gareth Potts right now. He is punishing every little mistake. Even when nothing falls on the break from Gareth Potts, Clough is equal to the task.
And like I said before, when I've seen Lee play, when you see him in the zone there, I just fancied him to pot that ball. And sometimes when he's not in the zone and he's not playing very well, he feels the world's against him and nothing goes right. But he is well switched on in this match. Awkward cueing over the yellow. Oh, he's got the option of dropping the red into the centre or taking it all the way down.
He's got that one problem ball, the bottom of the table as we look, bottom left, just to the left of the yellow. But with that other red in close proximity, gives himself the opportunity to try and develop it. And so this is all looking very positive for Lee here.
I think it's all about the cue ball control here, Jim. I think they all go into pockets. It's just finding the gaps. We shouldn't be too surprised how he played his quarterfinal. He was awesome in the quarterfinal.
Yeah, without a doubt, the best performance of any of the 8 players. Well, he couldn't do much with the cue ball, so he must have a game plan here.
Yeah, I think he's just going to stop the cue ball where the red is, Jim. Take the red into the top right-hand corner. Just leave himself a gap in between those 3 yellows. I don't think he can do a lot else. Jacking is up. This is probably the key shot on the frame if he can get position. Probably just 2 or 3 balls below the 2 reds. So it's red in the bottom right hand corner. Just bring the cue ball out. In between those 3 yellows will be perfect for him.
Oh, if he just flicked that yellow, would have been ideal. As it is now,
I still think he's all right, Jimmy. I think he can take the red and the. You see the shot onto the corner again when he flicks off the first yellow and the second yellow, and he can't get through to the red on the right hand side. I think he can take the.
You think the other red passes?
I think it passes, and I think he can hold the cue ball onto the 8 ball, and he's still got position, or as you would say, shape.
Well, he's got half a pocket, Lee, so you're right. There's a chance here. I don't think this was the intended red, but he can still maintain the initiative with a good shot. And he's got it, using the 8 as you suggested. And he is carrying on from his quarterfinal. Looks unstoppable.
Yeah, I think he's gone a little bit lower than he would have liked, so he has got a little bit of work to do. I think he can just roll it in there and come in between the, or just above the 2 yellows. Might even just flick off the edge of one of them, nice and steady.
30 seconds.
Which makes this post missile, because he's going to be rolling it. Oh, you could come inside it.
That's a great shot there from Lee Clough. He's gone straight across the table and come all the way back to leave himself a simple 8 ball.
It's like an open book right now for Lee Clough. He is really in command of his emotion in this match. 3-1. He's won the last 3 on the spin over Gareth Potts. Well, Gareth Potts has the break.
6th frame, Gareth Potts the break. Trailing 4
Frame number 6, trailing 4-1. The 2005 world champion has to stop the rot. We hit the break with a little bit of frustration there, I feel. And still again, nothing finding gravity.
Yeah, he lost the cue ball again there, Jim. And when he's cueing well, and things are going well for him, he hits a cue ball and he brings it straight down the, if you're playing snooker, straight down the colours, down the centre of the table.
But I was watching him closely there, Lee. He's not shaking his head yet. Still a long ways to go in this match. It's a best of 19, just to remind you. So the first player to 10 will book a place
30 seconds.
into the final. 4-1 right now to Lee Clough.
I think he's just going to hang in there, just weather the storm. I mean, again, look at these yellow balls. One good pot, one good positional shot, and the frame's over again. This is probably the key shot in the frame.
Yellow ball's in play.
I don't think that's worked out as Lee Clough wanted.
I think he might be able to get through though, Sean, to the one on the left-hand centre if need be, if the yellow doesn't go in the top right.
Oh yeah, but it's a tough shot, Lee. But Lee Clough's playing well. He's full of confidence. He's the man who's 4-1 in front, and he's probably seeing an opportunity now that he thinks, well, I can knock that in. Even if I don't, the reds aren't ideal by any means. There's two sets of 2 that are close together, so he may think, well, even if I don't make it, it's going to be thereabouts, and Gareth's not going to probably finish them from where they are.
Yeah, less pressure on the shot is probably a very good call there, Sean, because he knows if he doesn't get it, you know, it's not as if he's got 6 reds hanging over the pocket. Well, he's cueing, you can't see him missing it.
Red ball's in play.
Commentator's curse there, Lee. We probably actually thought he was going for the one in the middle. But he obviously felt confident on taking the long shot on.
Well, first indication that he's human in some time. But certainly Gareth Potts has to sense the urgency. And this is where he's going to have to call on the experience that he gained and winning the title in 2005. He knows what it takes to get there.
I mean, ideally, he would like to somehow cover the top left-hand pocket. With 2 groups of balls blocking each other's path to pockets. You know, it's not always the best thing to do is just keep potting balls and trying to make big finishes when you fall one down. You sometimes just have to slow your opponent down.
Well, and you're always looking to, psychologically bruise your opponent. And the way that he's taken, the battering that he's taken over the last 4 frames, you just get the feeling that he wants to try and hit back hard.
Seconds.
It's noticeable, Lee, that he seems to be taking quite a lot of time on his shots. Seems to have slowed down quite a bit. Now, you probably know his game better than anything. Is that something he'd do deliberately, or is that something that's it's just happened?
No, I just think he's just been frozen out of the match, and he's just trying to find his way in the match. He's not done... Well, he's missed 1 ball, and that's a mistake, but other than that, the ball's not been there for him. He's tried to attack there and split the 2 balls at the top of the table, and he didn't get them. So now he's going to play the safety.
But Lee, that's exactly what I was alluding to when I said that he wants to hit back hard. I mean, it's all about trying to, again, regain the initiative, and he wants to try and send a message over to Lee Clough, and no better way than to attack and try and win a frame somewhat prematurely, and I think that's what's cost him here.
Yeah.
Because he's not covered that pocket, which is what he was trying to do there. And now all those yellows are open for Lee Clough.
I mean, I think he may have been trying to cover the pocket, but I think in the back of his mind as well, he was thinking, well, he might have the angle to come up and disturb them. But either way, he's left an open table. And Lee Clough has now got to be saying to himself, I'm going to take these for a 5-1 lead.
Well, and Lee Clough can thank his form over the last 4 frames.
30 seconds.
That has completely unsettled Gareth Potts.
But isn't pool a frustrating game, because sometimes the balls go for you, you got the finishes on, like Lee's playing this match here, like he played his quarterfinal, everything's going for him. Whereas like on the other side, Gareth's been frozen out of the match. I think it's unlike any other sport you see Phil Taylor playing darts. It's just you and the board, and it doesn't matter how good these opponents are, he's just that much better. Whereas with 8-ball pool, you're in the hands of the gods, what's going to happen.
Well, the secret of success in any sport, Lee, play like it means nothing when it means everything.
And you always need the old favourite, bit of lady luck.
Yeah, because, I mean, when you look at the game of 8-ball, I mean, particularly on this 8-foot table, the break is everything. And the break shot is probably one of the luckiest things, where you get your luck or you don't, because you can smash them open and you get them all open and the cue ball gets kicked in, even when you've tried to control it.
30 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you've got the better breakers in the game. I mean, Gareth's one of the best breakers in the game. Chris Malling's a very, very good breaker, and Chase and Twist. But again, even with you being a good breaker, you're not guaranteed a ball, and that can affect how a match will go.
I don't think he's happy with that effort. If he's left this a little too straight, his positional options are limited. You can see him getting down yet again.
Yeah, he's played a poor shot there. He may have to have a settle for a longer shot and screw back. Yeah, that's probably the right shot. Just screw back and have a longer yellow.
Well, we've seen him get one and miss one of these so far in this game. So he's certainly cueing well. You wouldn't back against him getting this, Jim.
No, and this is really frame ball. Try and draw this over to the side cushion and back out for the yellow to the same pocket. If he gets this, it's going to be 5-1.
I can honestly say I've never seen Lee cue as well as he's done these past couple of weeks at the tournament. Probably run a little bit too far, so he may have to take the 8 into the centre. He doesn't want to be trying to be too clever and try and flick it off the red.
Couldn't he just kill the cue ball here and hold it?
I'm not sure. He looks to have an off angle. Yes, Jim, you're right again. Don't fall off your seat laughing. It just looked like it had a little bit more angle than I thought. There must be big pockets on these tables.
Got big pockets in Canada, Lee. For 5-1. And the onslaught continues here, much to the joy of all these Blackpool fans. It is a 5-1 lead to Lee Clough. Clough, unseeded, settles in for the break here in rack number 7.
Once again, he's made a ball on the break, and he's just had a little bit of bad luck there, because I think that red top right pocket is hampered by that yellow, and that's probably going to stop him.
I think it goes, Sean.
You?
I think it'll just sneak in. I think he's had a good split. Obviously, we'd like him to be a bit further away, but I think it does go.
And in fairness, he had that cue ball completely under control. It was kicked into that position. Otherwise, it would have been parked in the middle of the table.
I mean, you would like those two balls to be separate and go with the yellow balls, but
30 seconds.
you'll be happy enough to go with the reds. Well, it is very tight.
Doesn't look like it goes from that angle. That camera shot certainly would tell us that that red needs to be developed. If he in fact does elect reds, and he has. So here's his chance to open it up.
And the beauty of that shot, even obviously he wasn't going to finish on anything there, he'd got the insurance of the one down the table, but that cue ball's just finished very close to the yellow. It's going to make this next shot extremely awkward.
Yeah, it was a tricky little shot. He wanted to catch the yellow a little bit thinner, so he had good cueing, so this is a big shot. I mean, if he makes a red, he's not going to be in position for his next shot. Could he be playing the double? Will he go double into the centre?
Some of the magic that Lee Clough has weaved already in this match. You're just wondering, how often can he go to the well and pull out great shots? This one might well be top of the list if he gets it.
It's a big ass, this one, Jim. Jacked up over the yellow.
And he's got it. It's a fantastic shot again there from Lee Clough. Another long pot.
I mean, the way that he was cueing at that, I thought he was going to play it at pace.
Yeah.
And he rolled it in, and I've got to say, that table went dead true. Our camera was right behind it. That white never wavered off its intended path.
I think testimony there to our table engineer, Stan. He's keeps the tables in tip-top condition. I don't think we've ever had a problem with the TV table. It's always in pristine order when we start the game. And it's checked periodically through the championships.
Well, I mean, from one great shot, another opportunity to put another score on the board for Lee Clough. It's just one-way traffic. Gareth just needs a mistake somewhere to get back in the match, but it just doesn't look like it's going to come. I mean, this is a tricky shot he's got stretching over the table, but like you say, his height advantage will be fine. Again, frame ball.
Yeah, can he hold for the red? The top end of the table from this one?
He might just come back onto the yellow ball and use that as a breaker. Leave the cue ball there.
Oh, now that is that the mistake that Gareth Potts needs?
Well, you call it a mistake. I call it bad luck.
I call it careless. I think that he had no need to play it so hard. He just needs to just play it on and off the cushion, cannon the yellow, the white ball stays there.
Yeah, fair enough, but I mean, there's no way he could legislate to pocket the yellow from there. I mean, he got a full ball contact. That's what he wanted.
Yeah, it was dreadfully unlucky.
I just wonder whether there's a little bit of adrenaline in that Lee. You know, he's just all of a sudden he's got there and thinking,
second visit,
going 6-1 up here.
I mean, probably he was thinking, well, if I catch the yellow full ball, I may not be on the other red, so I've got to try and hit it hard and get the cue ball to slide off the side. So we'll give him the benefit of the doubt on that.
I mean, you talked about Lady Luck playing a role, as happens quite often in the game of pool. Well, I think Lee Clough just had his pocket picked.
Yeah, I mean, Gareth did have two shots when he started this this visit. He first of all decided to waste the shot, so he's now back down to one visit. And he was almost off the table. That would have been head and hands time if he'd missed that ball.
The one thing Gareth Potts has got is resilience. And he played in a recent professional event down at Great Yarmouth, and he was 5 or 6-1 down to the great Keith Brewer in a race to 8, and he came back, took the match on a deciding frame.
30 seconds.
So he's just got the simple task of these 3 yellows, but nothing simple when you're 5-1 down. Yeah, I just think he knows it's an important frame. He just needs to try and stop the Clough onslaught, really. I'm sure he will do here. Yellow into centre, run on and off the cushion. Take the yellow in the bottom corner. He's got the choice of pockets for the 8-ball.
It looks like he's just going to stun back and maybe take it into the opposite corner pocket early.
Running on and off. He's a bit careless. What's he played? I mean, that's just he just can't be thinking right to be playing that. He's not hit it anywhere near as hard. I think he must have played into the wrong side of the pocket and was playing for the middle. I just can't understand what he's played.
And with it not being a touching ball, is the push.
The push is not... well, Sean can explain that one better than himself.
Yeah, well, in the world rules, a push shot is only legal when it's played at speed. So if he was to just runs through slowly with his cue, that would be a foul. If he ran it through really fast, then it couldn't be called.
Seconds.
And I think he may be able to jack up here and play the black and off the red. So he may have been fortunate here.
You have to watch when that cue ball comes back here.
Has he hit it hard enough?
He's given 2 visits. Nothing's reached a rail. 2 visits. You know, in this game, after you've hit your own ball, a ball must hit a cushion or a ball must be pocketed, and that isn't what happened.
Well, that's just unexcusable. I know he's been under the cosh, but you know, Gareth's got 3 balls to roll on that.
I'll tell you what, a little bit of emotion there, a little bit of first reaction we've seen from Gareth Potts. He's obviously starting to feel the pressure out there, Lee.
And I think it's been hard for Gareth as well, because everybody's saying to him, well, you know, you match against Selby, you've won probably the match that's going to get you into the final, and he's got to get that out his head if that's in his head. You know, it's tough when people have already put you in the final to come out and put a performance.
Very valid point, Lee. And a lot of times when you beat the defending champion, and they always say the road to any title goes through the holder. And once he took out Mark Selby in the quarters, he might have felt like the hard work had been done.
Yeah, he needs to certainly dig deep. I mean, barring a careless mistake here from Lee, which you can't see missing these 3 balls. He's going to be 6-1 behind, and that is a big ask, especially when Lee Clough is playing so well.
Yeah, 6-1 behind, and with Lee Clough to break in the next, there may be no relief in sight for Gareth Potts. And 6-1 is your scoreline here in Blackpool. Lee Clough in control of this semi-final, much to the chagrin of Gareth Potts, and it'll be Clough with the break in frame number 8. He's got to try and put it right. Frame 8. And for once, success, the sweet taste of success off the break for Potts.
I think without doubt he'll be taking yellows here. You see that red and yellow there.
And again from the break, he took a lot of power off the break. But this is very similar to the first frame where he's going to nominate yellows. And he's going to be in total control of the frame again. So this is probably an ideal frame for Gareth.
30 seconds.
Just doesn't want to try and push a boat out here, just get the frame on the board.
Yeah, I think he has to try and take baby steps here, Lee. When he was down 4-1, he had the first chance to try and get back into the match. He tried to make a big step and threw caution to the wind. I think he has to try and just play himself back into form, and he's not doing it. He's trying to do too much too soon.
I mean, the good part about from the Gareth Potts fans is he plotted a yellow off the break and he stays on the yellows, and I think he was trying to take the finish out there and get himself going, because he obviously feel like he's been frozen out the match. but it's a long way to go. Lee Clough still needs another 4, and as soon as that winning line gets closer, I'm sure he'll be thinking about it. So Gareth just needs to keep himself close enough to, so if mistakes do come. So it's Lee Clough taking the red ball into centre. Now he can attack here, because I think that he can take the red past the yellow in the bottom left hand corner, and then play the red, which is at the side of that, past the 2 balls on the right hand side, which would free that pocket up. It's a tough finish, but
yeah,
there is an option there.
He's still got a lot of work to do. We see there from the overhead shot, he's got a red just above the middle pocket. It's on the rail, so it's not easy, this, Lee.
It's not easy, but it is there, and how he's been playing, you can't blame him for having a go.
And judging by the way he's played that, Lee, I think he's taking your advice. That's what he's looking at. We'll play this at a little bit of pace.
Yeah, probably coming off the knuckle. He'll probably look now where he wants to strike on the cushion. So he's looking there where he's going to free in past the yellow, and where the red's going to land afterwards.
Now, will he play this to try and get it inside the yellow, or actually try and pocket the red?
I think he'll try and pocket it and just hold the cue ball back roughly where his hand is, and play the red
30
next
seconds.
into the right hand centre. He's hoping just to spring the yellow out here and keep the red somewhere close. Now he's trying to be too clever and just get the yellows come out clean. They're all tricky little shots there, because you get the double kiss like he got.
Yeah, they've got to be just right. I mean, you get it into the knuckle, and it's just, as you say, sometimes you get the wrong angle, and the double kiss forces the ball back out instead of into the pocket.
Yeah,
which is what he's trying to do.
I think he wanted to be a little bit straighter on it. I think he landed a little bit higher than he wanted, which made the shot that little bit trickier. I know he should have still got it, but he could have been a lot better on it.
I think he was so concerned with contacting the yellow. That's yesterday's news now.
Yeah, because this is another chance for Potts, Jim.
Yeah, back to the present, and I mean, how many times have we said it? He really has to try and seize some of the initiative back.
And sometimes when you're a long ways back in a match, things seem to look a bit more difficult than they really are. I mean, you look for problems on the table, or you feel like, well, I don't really want to go for these. I'd sooner have 2 shots or an easy finish. And now he's going to have to take a plant, and he needs the ball that he plays onto the yellow to stay in the open.
Seconds.
He's played a very good shot there. It's helped that the yellow came back over. He had a little bit of luck, but he deserved it because he played a good shot.
Yeah, so it's Lee. Sometimes you make your own luck in this game. He certainly did there by playing an excellent shot.
You think he'll take a little bit more time on the last yellow?
Well, he knows that he's got to get the frame, and I just can't see him missing. It's just one screw back, probably about half a foot, and he's perfect.
Yeah, I'm not sure about speeding up, slowing down, Jim. Taking his time. He seems to have speeded his play up. These last 2 or 3 shots, he's played fairly rapidly.
The option of running through or screwing back, whichever he chooses.
He's wasting no time whatsoever. Gets right down on this black. Just settles himself. And how important was that 8-ball for Gareth Potts? 6 in a row went to Lee Clough, and finally Potts bothers the scorer again. 6-2. Yeah, it's just a nice screw back here. Well controlled.
And no mistakes with the position on the black this time.
Frame number 9. And Lee Clough finds himself back at the table with a 6-2 lead. And he has been breaking extremely well in the semifinal. And that trend looks to continue.
Red ball potted.
Just had a quick look at the table there. It doesn't look a brilliant split. There's no immediate say take reds or take yellows, but they're certainly spread wide enough. It's just a couple of awkward balls, or one awkward ball in each suit here, perhaps.
Yeah, he's probably going to look at the yellows if he can pot the yellow in the centre and come down and disturb the yellow there, or just roll it down inside the red. But like you say, it is tricky little finish. Just with the red being on the left-hand side rail by the yellow, you wouldn't want to be trying to split that out, whereas the yellows are more in a position where you can play on them without playing split. So
Yellow balls
I'm sure he'll take
nominated.
the yellows, and that's what he's done, nominated the yellow balls and take the yellow into the centre. He has decided to run down. Didn't
Yellow
contact
balls
the
in
yellow,
play.
though, like he tried.
So he tried to do it in one visit there. In one shot, he tried to mature the situation into a frame-winning possibility. And in so doing, I think he's given just a glimmer of hope to Gareth Potts in this one.
Yeah, he needs to get that yellow out sooner rather than later, because he doesn't want to give Gareth a chance to bring his bad ball out on
30 seconds.
the left-hand side as we look. So he's probably just going to roll this up towards the middle. The double.
I'll tell you what, Lee, this is probably the most attacking I've seen Lee Clough play in a long time. I mean, I say he gets a little bit of stick, I think, unwarranted about the pace of his play. He's an excellent player, and he's one of those players just who's steady and methodical.
I'll remember that the next time you're referring him, Sean, when you say it's unwarranted.
What a shot. What a shot, though, from Lee Clough.
He obviously realises this isn't the time to be
30 seconds.
playing tactical. He doesn't need to. He's the one that's 6-2 up. And he's the one with a chance to extend that lead.
You don't back into world titles, guys. You go in through the front door.
Yeah, I think when you're queuing really well, you want to go in amongst the balls. You want to get some sort of rhythm. So
I totally agree, Lee. And this is just another sign for me that Lee Clough is enjoying the situation out there. He is embracing the moment.
And this again is a key shot here, Jim. If you can play the yellow and free that pocket for the yellow to pass the red.
30 seconds.
It's a tricky little shot. But it's a frame winner if he gets it. Be trying to flick off the red. Makes the yellow missable. Great shot.
Played with precision, with confidence.
The only problem with where he's left the cue ball, he's obviously going to have to take the yellow into the centre next. He's just got to get the right angle, and he's just looking now at what angle he needs so he can take the yellow in the top left and stun over.
Yeah, he's almost looking to leave the cue ball where the yellow is here, Lee.
And probably a little bit further, Sean, as
Maybe,
well. So,
yeah.
so he can just leave an angle and just leave it offside so he can
30 seconds.
easily stun it without trying to do too much.
Yeah, 'cause he's going to have to precisely say with that red that's very close to the yellow.
And I think the white's running away as well, so he might have to pinch some of the pocket. Play it right to the top side of the pocket.
Well, he's done us there, Lee.
No, I think I did think the shot, he could play that shot because he knows that if he doesn't get the right angle, he can't get out. So I was just thinking, well, will he stun over? And I think he's probably done the right thing because he knows now any shot at the yellow is going to have a shot at the black. So I think he's thinking very, very clear.
Again, this is another indication how many right-handers would be able to cue at this comfortably. I mean, being tall is a big advantage.
And he's
30
been a little bit
seconds.
unlucky as well because he's left himself awkwardly bridging over that red, which makes this very missable. Missy he has. Oh, how's that
gone in there?
That, as I say, that's ridiculous because he's missed it by a long ways. Even Lee's having laughed to himself. I wouldn't be complaining if I was Lee because I shouldn't be at the table anymore.
Again, he's resettling himself. I like what I see from Lee Clough here. He got a little bit of a gift when this one disappeared.
See, that's it, the cushion about 4 or 5 inches up the rail, Lee. Incredible that's gone in.
30 seconds.
I'm staggered that it's gone in. I mean, I remember a shot that Mark Selby played against Gareth. I think it was to go 7 apiece. He's played the 8 ball along the bottom rail, and how it's gone in, I don't know, because he's hit well into the left-hand side of the knuckle. But he just seems to be playing a little bit generous this table.
He needs one good shot here, though. to take it home.
What's he played there?
Well, he was trying to play the double because he obviously didn't think he could play
ball's
the
in
yellow
play.
into the top pocket. He tried to play the double and got the double kiss.
I'm sure he could pot that, and now he obviously must be worried about going behind the red, but
He obviously wasn't confident about it. So now, has he given Gareth Potts another chance to get back in this game? Because certainly all the balls are there now for Gareth. He's just got to pick his way around them. And with that yellow the way it's gone, Gareth would have to play something extremely bad to
Well,
give Lee Clough another chance.
I think the only thing in Lee's favour is when Gareth's running one of these balls or two of the balls down the cushion, if he rattles it, he's going to leave him on the yellow. So that's the only saving grace he's got. But you'd still expect Gareth to get him, and that's what he's done.
But you see there though, Lee, he's hit that hard to make sure he didn't leave him that chance. He hasn't run it, he's tried to force it in, if you like, and made sure the cue ball come back.
I think he just played it negative, Sean. I think he played it. He's obviously thinking, well, if I miss this pot, I'm going to leave him on the yellow. I mean, why play it like that? That can only be negative thoughts running through his head.
I'll tell you why he's played that, Lee. He's played that because he's 6-2 down.
Negative thoughts until he just... Normally, you would just stroke it down and didn't need to be anywhere near as hard as that.
30 seconds.
He's got a cut here, but it looks like he's going for a double.
Well, there's nothing easy about that double. But you can't see Gareth Potts failing yet again. Everything in the open.
He's going to try and... Oh. Well, I'll tell you why he's failed there. He's trying to disturb the red, but he's had a right result, as Lee would say, because he's snookered him on the yellow.
He's had a result, but he'll be fuming with himself inside. He's got away with it.
That can't do his confidence any
Total
good.
snook.
Regardless, he's gotten lucky, but you start missing shots like that, and you're going to take... That's baggage for me. That's just...
Exactly, yeah.
That'll do nothing positive to Gareth Potts.
So he's totally
30
snookered.
seconds.
Can't really see him coming up with anything Houdini-like, but you never know. I think he's trying to come off one cushion and potted. It's a tough shot.
And this table is thrown a little wide.
Good effort.
Great effort. He's been very unlucky there.
Can't tell you how hard that shot is because on this TV table it slides so much, so where you'd normally expect to aim, you're guessing, so it was a very good effort.
Lee, exactly. We've seen a couple instances where very capable players have missed one cushion escapes. That was a great effort, that one, from Lee Clough.
I think Gareth just needs to somehow get these reds in the holes and just compose himself because I think he's a little bit, like where he's been punched by a boxer by a hard punch where he didn't really expect it.
Yeah, he's reeling from the body blows of Lee Clough, and he just needs to regroup, as you say. So he's certainly not playing anything like the form that made him the 2005 champion.
But that's down to Lee Clough as well, though. Lee Clough has put him under this pressure. If Lee Clough didn't come out flying, then you would have seen Gareth running round. So, although you've seen Potts' mistakes, you've got to tip your hat to Clough for putting him under this pressure.
He's not going to fail again. The resurgent Gareth Potts slots in that 8, and with it takes 2 in a row. 6-3 now to Lee Clough.
And welcome back. So Lee off to a terrific start in this semi-final, but Gareth is fighting his way back into the match. Keith Brewer's watching it with me. Keith, you just feel that maybe there's some resurgence coming here.
Well, the nature of the game, David, is that you know, it can reverse round as quick as it goes the other way, and he's reeled off like 5 or 6 frames there without any reply. He's played awesome pool, but Gareth obviously now mounting a comeback. He won't give up. He'll be fighting all the way.
And you know all about this because you were leading consistently well over him not a long time ago, and he fought back to beat you.
Yeah, it's just the way pool can go, and a lot of it's down to the break as well, and Lee's been breaking better than Gareth so far.
So where's your money?
Well, you've got to go with Lee, haven't you, because he's got the lead, but, you know, I've seen Gareth come back a few times, so don't write him off just yet.
We shan't. OK, that's it on that note. We'll hand you back now to commentary.
Frame number 11. He's seen a 6-1 lead transformed to 6-4 as he breaks Lee Clough and Gareth Potts. Teammates on England, bitter rivals here in the semi-finals.
Open table.
And a dry break this time for Lee Clough, so is the match starting to turn on its face?
Yeah, because early on in the match he was getting the ball. The balls were nicely spread and he was picking them off, and he wasn't really giving Gareth that chance to get back in, because that's what this game's all about, Lee. If you keep your opponent in your chair by breaking and finishing, you know, he's got no chance. If from here it was to be a break and finish by each player each frame, Lee Clough would be winning the game.
30 seconds.
But that's not happening.
Yeah, and he's got a tricky shot here to play the plant into the centre. He's made it.
Yellow ball's in play.
And the yellows are all there to be picked off. He just needs good cue ball control.
But he has certainly answered the bell. Gareth Potts, even the look on his face, no more concern. Best of 19, the semi-final.
Yeah, it looks like the yellow goes just below the red. Can hold the cue ball on the black and the red, like that. Slightly tied the black up, but it's still going the centre. But he has got a lot of, like I say, intricate positional shots to play. He's trying to work out the easiest way around them.
Gareth had a real nail-biter in his last 64 clash against England's Sam Jeffrey, 8-7. He escaped that one, and then 2 comfortable rides through to the corners, an 8-2 win over Tom Ford, and then 8-1 over Sunny Singh before meeting the defending champion in the quarterfinals. And then Mark Selby went down to defeat at the hands of Gareth Potts, 9-7.
Yeah, and after that tough start he had against Sam Jeffrey, he's had the 2 convincing victories against 2 very good players. You think, well, he's stepped up his gear through the tournament. You know, as the tournament progressed, he's going to get better, he's going to play better. But at the start of the game, the quarter-final with Mark Selby, he wasn't anything like the standard we know. And it took him a long time before he got into the game. He was fortunate. Mark he wasn't playing too well. He's there in the crowd watching on. But Mark wasn't playing too well either. Otherwise, Mark could have been out of sight before Gareth got going.
But very interesting, Sean. You and I commentated that match, and it was about the middle stage, just as it is here, that Gareth Potts started to assert himself and take command. He won 4 in a row against Selby there, a string from frame 9 through 13, and here he started the fight back, frame number 8. So right in the middle of the match.
And he's just looking here if he can hold the cue ball on the back edge of the red. He's flipped the edge of it. I don't know if he's made that 8 ball any more tricky. Certainly not what he played. He's trying to flip the red away from it. So now he may have to either run off the cushion and come back to where he is, but I imagine he's going to take the black into the top left-hand corner. Just whether he wants to take the risk of coming around the angles or topping through where you could kiss into balls. I'd imagine he'll just leave himself a shot. That's exactly what he's done. So big pressure black coming up.
Equal to the task. Gareth Potts is now just one frame adrift. It is 6-5 in favor of Lee Clough. Game on.
And you talk about big frames in the matches. That was a big frame, but the next one, if he can get himself level, you know, the doubts will start to creep into Lee's mind. And
well, what looked to be a one-sided affair has suddenly turned into a match. 6-5 in favor of Lee Clough. And Gareth Potts with the break. Frame number 12. Hold on to your seats.
And that's a massive break for Gareth Potts. And just look at, well, the reds I think he's going to take here because it's the easiest shot as an opener. But either suit here are wide open.
Red ball's in play.
You see this break shot again.
you see that's the first one he's broke, where he's brought the cue ball back where he likes to play it down the centre of the table.
And nobody would begrudge Gareth Potts starting to get a little run of the ball here.
Apart from the man sat in the opposite seat to him.
Yeah, one exception. Quite possibly his family and friends in attendance here, Lee.
Yeah, there's quite a few people from Blackpool come to support the tower, as he's known by his fans. He's put up a good performance so far, but now Gareth's starting to ask the questions, and that's why he's been a world champion. And he's going to take a good, hard-fought battle for Lee Clough to knock him out of the tournament.
Well, they came to witness a match, and these players are producing it now.
And certainly Gareth now is just starting to show the form that we know he's capable of. He's very confident in the pots he's played so far in this frame. Just taking his time a little bit on this shot, just to be exactly in the right place. Great shot of the stance there, Gareth Potts, rock solid. Just left this slightly awkward for himself, Lee, but I don't think there should be any problems. He's going to run round, black into the same pocket.
Yeah, it's fine. He could have done with a little bit more on the black, but it'd be fine. He can just soft screw.
All of a sudden, the match is a best of 7. 6 apiece here now. Gareth Potts and Lee Clough in the race to 10.
Well, there's no doubt he's still focused in this match, and he's just thinking, well, if I can keep getting the chances, I'm queuing well. You know, there's no doubt that he can still win the match. He just needs not to get down on himself.
Lee Clough to break. Scores 6-all.
Frame number 13. Clough with the controls. 6 apiece. He wants to send all the fans here that have come to watch him in Blackpool home happy, but he's got a lot of work to do to accomplish that feat.
Yeah, he's done the first bit by making the ball on the break, but you see the break shot again, cue ball jump, and he was fortunate, nearly found its way into the middle pocket, but it stayed on the high side.
Yeah, there's a lot of work in the match to be done, but also in this frame, and this is a key frame. He's going to play the yellow balls. He's got a tricky one over on the right-hand side by the 2 reds.
30
Test to
seconds.
queuing. He's been solid so far, but the pressure's getting harder and harder all the way through. Not wiped its feet, but still went. Just a nice pace.
And he's just got the one difficult yellow. But already in his mind, the one bottom of your picture.
Yeah, you see with the top players, I mean, you see him go behind by 4 or 5 frames, and they still manage to come back, where if it's the other way around, you always feel that, you know, they're going to blow the opponent away, and they just got this great ability to keep fighting all the way to the line.
Well, Lee, in every player's career, and I played professional snooker for about 17 years, you always think back to words from some of the more experienced players that you respected, that stick out in your mind. Has anyone ever told you anything? Given situations like this, has anyone ever said anything to you that you try and fall back on when you really know you're under the gun?
That's a very good question. I mean, I always try to say to myself more than what other people have said, is just try and play every shot like it's your last. And I'm sure many players have said that, and many coaches have said that, because you've got to stay in the moment, as one of your sayings, Jim, and it's very hard to stay in the moment. So I mean, I'm sure Lee's fans or his supporters will be saying to him, just keep going, you're doing not a lot wrong.
Well, I always remember a real good friend of mine, former world number 4, Kirk Stevens, telling me to start a match out as though you're ready to play the deciding frame. And there, another mistake from Lee Clough, and I've just got a feeling that as the pressure is mounting and these guys start nearing the finish line, I think Gareth Potts is a little better prepared.
Yeah, the experience side is starting to show a little bit where, you know, I think he's thinking now could be in the world final, and now Gareth's coming back at him. He's winning more tournaments. I think it does help if you're winning tournaments consistently to stay in the mode when you are behind, and that's why the top players are so good, because they keep winning the tournaments.
Well, success breeds success, and Gareth Potts knows what it takes to get to the major finals.
They just find it hard to say they're going to get beat because they've had so many good memories. But when you've had so many bad memories, you always think, well, I don't want to chuck one in and I don't want to make a silly mistake.
There's still a little bit of work to be done, though, by Gareth Potts in this frame. He's going to have to get his position over with that red on the left-hand side of the table.
I think it's just the 8 ball that's making it a little bit tricky, because ideally he'd like to have the angle to just run on and off the rail. And this is a test to queuing. He's passed that test.
For me, the transformation is complete. Gareth Potts has found the sort of zone that I think he wanted to start this match out in. I mean, he looks composed, he's cool, he's not rushing anything anymore. He's had some early glitches and he survived the scare. He's been given a few opportunities, unexpected opportunities, misses from Lee Clough.
He's over at that shot though. No, he's fine. I think he did actually play there. I just thought he was going to end up touching the black. You saw him queuing up before to say that he wanted to get in position to play the one on the right hand side first.
Yeah, as you say, he came round just to check that position before he played the shot, and it's not far off where he was pointing to, so one good shot now back across the table from Gareth.
And that's just about perfect. Now he just screw it back a little bit, take it in the top right, or take it back in the middle. I think he might just stun over for the middle.
Looks a different player, doesn't he? An hour ago, you never would have bet on Potts clearing up like this, but he's doing it with alarming consistency right now, and he is planting Lee Clough in his chair. 6 in a row to take a 7-6 lead.
Leading seven frames to 6.
Frame number 14. He's 7-6 in front. Gareth Potts trailed 6-1 at one point in this match. How could anyone have given him a chance? But the former world champion came back.
I'll tell you what, look at the split there on the overhead camera. Absolutely perfect.
And what they say on the UK pool circuit, these are what you call Mary Ploppins. You just need the cue ball in the middle of the table and everything's a stun shot, so this is 8-6 on the cards.
Yeah, I've heard some of the American players call this a roadmap finish. Connect the dots.
30 seconds.
Just had a quick check of the shot clock there. He wasn't sure whether 30 seconds had been called, and we've heard it. You've just got to be careful because he's got the plant. All right, the plant's not difficult, but what he doesn't want to do is knock the other ball into an awkward position, Lee, does he?
Yeah, I think if he just leaves himself the similar angle that he's got there, his cue ball's going to drift into the middle of the table, the red's going to drift over to the same way. There is no problems here. I mean, he can be straight behind it and hold the red exactly where it is.
Well, he's looking at taking it now, actually.
Well, how he's been playing, you just can't see a stupid mistake coming, because that's all it would take for him to miss these. He's just cue ball in the middle of the table every single time.
But even looking at his face, I mean, those eyes are not leaving that playing surface.
I think he knows that the scare's over. Now it's Potts time, as they'd say. You know, Clough dominated the first part of the match. Now he's been given the opportunity and he's ridden the storm.
Yeah, very valid point, Lee. But much more important to dominate the second half of a match.
That's where you pick up the dough. As you say in the UK, you pot the balls at the end to take the money. But it is just dot to dot.
Things are starting to look ominous now for Lee Clough in this game. Having led early on, 6 frames to 1. Looks like Gareth is going to take 7 in a row to extend the lead to 8-6.
No more ifs. It's in his account now. An 8-6 advantage to Gareth Potts. What a performance from the 2005 world champion.
To 6.
Frame number 15. Now behind 8-6. Lee Clough has to dig deep.
Open
And
table.
even the pool gods are frowning on him now. Well, a lot of the onlookers here, locals from Blackpool, coming to cheer Lee Clough.
Red ball's in play.
They haven't had a lot to cheer about in the late going.
I think he's going to be playing the cannon here into the bottom area, but he's not guaranteed to land on something.
But Lady Luck is smiling on Gareth Potts. Great shot there to develop his one bad ball. And it's looking ominous again for the tower from Blackpool, Lee Clough.
Well, Lee Clough is a professional taxi driver by living. Well, at this rate he might be warming it up because it's all one-way traffic.
30 seconds.
It's a clever little shot there to screw off the yellow. And again, you can't really see any problems in the finish.
No, I mean, this is a sort of finish that Gareth takes out, you know, 99 times out of 100. And certainly the way he's played in these last few frames.
And there's a man who witnessed it firsthand in the quarterfinals, the defending champion, Mark Selby. He saw Gareth Potts and performing at this sort of level. Last year's champion will be back, rest assured. What a talented young player he is. But this 23-year-old is singing to a different tune right now.
He doesn't seem to know when he's beat, does he? It's 2 matches he's been behind. He's still in there fighting, and now he's a big way into going through to the final.
Just left this awkward for himself. I don't think he needed to have left it that awkwardly, but another good shot there from Gareth. His confidence is obviously very high.
And the 8th frame on the spin. Gareth Potts now just 1 away from a place in the final to try and regain the title he lost last year. 9-6 over Lee Clough.
As we see here to finish that great shot there. A little bit of luck in developing that ball.
There's a couple of mistakes, but you look at the second session, he hasn't done anything wrong really. He just one plant.
6.
Frame 16, and Potts with a chance to close it out right here. 9-6 he leads.